Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. For today's video, we are going to be just simply playing with some very neglected makeup. I've done one or two of these videos before, but it has been a while, and I love doing them because as someone that has a larger makeup collection, as you might imagine, I do have quite a bit of neglected makeup. So I went through all of my different products and tried to pick some things that I know I haven't used for a while, but I was just excited to pull out again. And I came up with a nice little stash of products here that I'm very excited to play with. I hope that you guys are excited about this video. Of course, if you are newer to my channel, a special welcome to you. I hope that you will consider subscribing if you have not done that yet, and also ring the notification bell if you want to be notified every time I upload a new video. And with that said, let's go ahead and jump right into the makeup. So we're going to kick things off with the primer today, and I'm taking the Touch in Sol No Problem Primer. This is actually one of my favorite primers that I own as someone that is not always using a primer, which I feel like needs to be said, but I do really love this one. I've had it for quite a while now. I've actually had it for over a year. Any of you that have done BoxyCharm for a long time will know that this came in a BoxyCharm about a year and a half ago, which is when I got this primer and tried it for the first time. But I really do love it for, it's kind of a hybrid between a moisturizing and a pore filling primer. And while I'm personally always someone that's a little bit skeptical of pore filling primers because I just don't feel like they do a whole lot, I do think this is one that really does help your makeup to glide on really evenly on top. So if you have a foundation that maybe is a little bit difficult to blend or something like that, I feel like this is a good primer for a foundation like that. For the foundation I picked out for today, this is not one that has difficulty blending. This is actually one of my favorite foundations that I haven't used for quite a while. The Milani Conceal and Perfect. This foundation has been around for a very long time. The color that I'm using today is 03 Light Beige, which I think is going to be a pretty perfect shade match for me. However, this specific bottle, the pump is broken, which is always difficult to use the little pump stick inside and kind of swipe it on the back of your hand. And this is a very thick foundation, so I can't really pour this one out because it's quite heavy and quite thick, but it doesn't feel thick on my skin. Let me know what you guys think of this one if you have tried it. I know it's been around for a really long time. I really love it. It lasts pretty well on me. It gives me good coverage, but it doesn't feel too cakey or heavy as long as I am careful about not using too much. For those of you that have tried this foundation, let me know what you think of it. And also, if you have tried Milani's newer foundation, I can't remember what it was called. They came out with a new foundation. Was it earlier this year, the end of last year? I want to say it was like the Screen something. I can't remember. I'll put the name right here on the screen for you guys. But I watched a couple of people review that foundation and they didn't seem to really like it that much. So I never really was compelled to pick it up. But if you guys have tried it and can maybe compare it to this one, let me know what you thought. For my concealer today, I grabbed the Flower Beauty Light Illusion Concealer. I have it in the shade Light 34. I've not used this for quite a while. In fact, this is kind of a concealer that I think I picked up last summer, and I really can only use this shade in the summer because it's just a little bit too dark for me in the middle of the winter time. But I do like this one. It's really nice and hydrating. It's kind of a medium coverage concealer. It doesn't give me super intense coverage, but usually I'm okay with a medium coverage concealer. I don't usually feel like I need much more than that. And I'm just going to use that same sponge to tap that out. I don't know if you guys can see it, but I have a really like red scratch mark here on my eye. Somehow today while I was getting ready, I washed my hair yesterday, so I was just kind of re-dampening it and putting product in my curls to kind of reshape them a little bit. I think I was in a rush and kind of trying to go too fast, but I went to like run my fingers through my hair and I missed, and my fingernail gouged the side of my eye just right here under my lash line, and man, it hurt. And I'm just kind of taking what's left and tapping that just on the inner part of my eyelids. Normally if I'm using an eyeshadow primer, I like to put my eyeshadow primer on before I put my concealer on, but sometimes I forget, so we're gonna put it on after today. For my eyeshadow primer, we're taking this one right here. This is actually one that I got from Coastal Scents. So I picked this primer up during the holiday season when Coastal Scents was doing their Hot Pot sale because I got a couple of, actually I got a lot of their Hot Pots. A lot. Almost every single one that they have. I ended up ordering a ton of their Hot Pots. And this they had on sale for like $1.50 or $2 at the time, so I went ahead and grabbed it. And the only time that I've tried it was when I was trying out a couple of their shades of Hot Pots. I did use this. And I don't know if it was the primer or the eyeshadow, but my eyeshadow within like 3 hours was everywhere. It was creased, it looked terrible, kind of left a bad taste in my mouth, and I really haven't used either the eyeshadows or the primer ever since. So I'm going to try it today and hopefully figure out if it was the actual eyeshadows or the primer that caused that problem. By the way, I'm just taking a little bit of translucent powder on my lids. I like to think that a good eyeshadow primer would prevent any shadows from creasing, but I honestly just haven't tried those shadows out since. And I don't know if it was just those shades, because I do have other shades from Coastal Scents that I've tried in the past that I think are fantastic. So I don't know, let me know. I know there has been a couple of you that have expressed some interest in those Hot Pot shadows. I need to try some more of the shades out off camera to really see if it was maybe just a couple of shades that were a dud for me. So now I want to move into the rest of my face before we go into the eyes. And for today, we're going to do a little bit of contouring and bronzing with this. This is the Profusion Contour and Highlight, or Highlight and Contour palette. I'm a huge fan of Profusion's face products. I love their eyeshadows, and I feel like their eyeshadows get talked about a lot, but I really love their bronzers, their contours, their highlights. They're amazing, and I don't feel like a lot of people talk about them. But today I'm going to take a mix of these two shades right here, and I'm going to take those on my Rephr number 22 brush. We're just going to add a little bit of a kind of bronzy contour. These are quite cool toned. They're not really meant for bronzing. They are much more of a contour shade than a bronzer shade. And come to think of it, I have a couple of these Profusion face palettes, and I'm not sure very many of them actually have bronzers in them. They usually just do the more kind of cool toned contours. I still don't think that's too cool tone though. So I don't know, maybe it's working a little bit as a bronzer as well. If you guys have tried the Profusion face powders, let me know what you think of them, because I think they're pretty great. And very neglected. I haven't actually used this one for quite a while. We're going to do highlight first today before we go into blush. And I think I want to take a mix of these two highlights right here. This one's a little bit more pink. This one's a little bit more gold. And these are quite intense. So I'm going to try and really tap that brush off and go pretty light-handed. We're going to start on the bridge of my nose. And I always love to put a little bit right in my brow bone. I kind of go over my actual eyebrow right there. All right, and now let's move into blush. So for my blush, I took this one right here. This is from Kosas. I love this cream blush. It is a very interesting formula. It's kind of a cream to, I wouldn't call it a cream to powder formula, but it's a cream product that really does set down. And I know this looks disgusting, but the way that I really like to apply it is really get my finger in there and kind of warm up the cream, because it is a little bit stiff if you don't warm it up first. So I like to just take one finger, kind of warm some of that blush up on that finger, and then just tap it onto my cheek. And I like to do one cheek at a time. For a cream blush though, this stuff lasts really well on my cheeks, which is good because I have kind of a long day today. We actually have 3 baseball games to go to this afternoon. My oldest son has it's just Summer Legion ball, but they have a game this afternoon at 3:30 and 6, and then my youngest son has okay, I might have got a lot on this side. Uh-oh. Work fast, Mandy, work fast. So my youngest son has a game at 8 tonight. So we'll be watching baseball from 3 o'clock this afternoon until about 10 o'clock tonight, which I'm not complaining about. I have been missing baseball so much. I love watching my kids play baseball. All right, so there is the finished blush. I think it is so pretty. I love the color of this blush. It's such a good, natural looking pink. Now it is time to move into the eyes, and I was so back and forth on what palette to pick. So there were 2 palettes that I really wanted to use today. The one that spoke to me the very most was the Juvia's Place Magic Mini. It might surprise you guys that I haven't used this palette for quite a while because it is one of my all-time favorite palettes. You guys know that Juvia's Place is one of, if not my very favorite eyeshadow brand. I love their palettes so much, and this is one of my favorites of theirs. I love the color story inside here. Such a fun and inspiring color story. I have so enjoyed lately seeing Juvia's Place get so much love on the internet with so many people doing full faces of black-owned beauty brands. I love seeing people love on Juvia's Place because you guys know how much I love them. I just think their eyeshadows are kind of underrated, and I'm excited to see them really get some recognition. But because I have baseball games to go to today, I don't really want to do something colorful, and I hate to dip into this palette and not do something somewhat colorful. So I'm going to push pause on this one. The one that I decided to go with instead is another very neglected palette, and I've actually only used this palette once or twice in my personal life, and it is the BH Cosmetics Love in London palette. I know there are many of you guys that absolutely love this palette. I've heard a lot of people speak very highly of it, and with their newer collection that they just came out with, I can't remember what it is called, but I think it's like a brunch collection, but they have a couple of eyeshadow palettes in that collection, one of which is a green palette called their Avocado Toast. That palette really has my attention right now. And yesterday I was watching Jen Phelps do her review of that collection, and I was reading through her comment section, and a lot of people said that the formula The Love in London is one of BH Cosmetics' best formulas out there. And so that got me thinking, you know, it is a shame that I have that palette, that I've had it for quite a while, and I just have not given it enough love. Now the color story of this one is a little bit more subdued. I'd say it's a neutral leaning cool tone palette, but I do think it's a beautiful palette. I have swatched the whole thing. I think the formula is lovely and easy to work with, and it deserves a little more love from me. So we're gonna use this one today. I'm sorry, Magic Minnie. Maybe I'll come back and do an out of my comfort zone look with this palette. Let me know if that's something you guys would like to see. But let's go ahead and jump into this one today. So we're gonna start off by going into the shade right here, Big Ben. And I'm gonna take my Rephr number 16 brush and run that up through the crease. Speaking of this brush, I did mention this in my May favorites as a major favorite of mine, and I did tell you guys that they were going to put this in the concept store. They did put it in their concept store where you could get it for 50% off, but that only lasted for a day or two. So I'm so sorry to those of you that watched that video a little bit late and were not able to pick this brush up if you wanted to. I'm actually considering picking up another one of these because I just think it's such a great brush. Alright, so I'm trying to think, do I want to go cool tone or do I want to go warm tone today? They do have this really beautiful warm bronze. I feel like I've done a look like that recently though. So I'm kind of feeling the cooler tones in here with maybe a pop of this reddish brown shade right here. So let's go into that red brown right now. This is the Wayne Goss number 18 brush. I'm just taking a little bit of this color, which is Piccadilly, and I'm going to start applying that to my outer corner. Ooh, that's a pretty color. It looks kind of purpley. And I love a good plum in my outer corner. So let me know what the weather's doing where you guys are living. We have had some crazy weather in Utah lately. So on Friday, today's Monday when I'm filming this, and it is currently, I actually checked before I started filming, 42 degrees outside this morning. The high is supposed to be 53 today. It was 100 degrees on Friday. So that is probably the biggest swing in temperature that I maybe have ever seen in my life. And we actually get swings in temperature like that quite often in the spring because it's so windy here. I don't know what it is about the landscape here or just the air movement, but it's pretty common for us to go from really hot to really cold to really hot, kind of back and forth in the spring. And until summer really hits in July, that's when things just are hot all the time and dry and windy. And I've realized that I really do not like wind. I mean, does anybody out there like strong winds? I would guess that most people dislike very strong winds. So I do want to keep things pretty cool tone. So I'm kind of thinking that we'll do maybe this color in the outer part of the lid and this one in the center of the lid. Ooh, that's a really nice taupey silver. Let's do that. So we're going to take this color right here, which is the color Prestige right there. And I'm going to pop this kind of on the center to outer, almost to the outer corner. I like to try to avoid putting it right in my outer corner because I like that to stay matte. But I think I'm going to put that about, let's go a little bit over the halfway mark. So kind of like that. Now let's go in with the lighter silvery taupe, which is the color Palace right here. And I'm going to pop that on the inner part of my lid and kind of overlap that other shade. And where they overlap, I really just like to kind of tap. I try not to pull and just really lightly press. That is really pretty. Now I'm going to go into my Wayne Goss brush. I just wiped it off. And I'm just going to buff out kind of this edge right here really lightly. Wipe it off again, and then we're going to blend this outer edge just so I can pull back some of that matte shadow underneath and kind of blend out that edge. Same on the other side. I'll go ahead and blend out that edge first. Okay, there we go. All right, now I want to add just a little bit of depth to the outer corner. Let's go ahead and take this shade right here, which is the shade Crumpet. I love that name. I think that is so cute. And somebody tell me, I know there are some of you from the UK that watch my channel. What is a crumpet? Is it a biscuit? I don't really know what a crumpet is, and I'm sure I could figure it out with a quick Google search, but I'm going to ask you guys instead. Let me know what a crumpet is. I kind of want to make them for my kids just so I can say that we're having crumpets for breakfast or snack or tea time. Do you only eat them with tea? So for my lower lash line, let's go ahead and use this color right here. This is the color Cheers. And for that, I'm going to take a very neglected brush. This is my Real Techniques shading brush. One of my favorite brushes that I really have not used for a while, partly because it fell behind my filming desk and I forgot about it. I just found it a few days ago and realized, you know, I have not used that brush for so long. And I'm pretty sure that Real Techniques has kind of revamped all of their brushes, and the ones that look like this are not really available anymore. Let me know if you guys know if there's a replacement for this brush. Now I'm going to go into the darker brown just on the very, very tip, and we're going to run that just right under this outer corner to kind of connect the bottom to that top smoky corner right there. Alright, let's move into eyebrows. I'm going to take this right here. This is from Chella. This, ironically, also came in a BoxyCharm about a year and a half ago. And I really like this product. It's basically you twist off this side and you have some, it's kind of like a powdery gel or pomade. And then on the other side you have a little brush. I actually don't like the brush that much that it comes with. I think it's a little bit too fat. So I'm going to take this little brush from Ardell. Okay, I feel like that went a little overboard quickly. Was there like black liner inside here? That looks really, really dark. Okay. Now to set my brows in place, I'm going to take my Essence Make Me Brow. I have it in the shade, oh man, what is the shade on this? Soft brown. We're going to add just a little bit of this to my brows, which I'm suspecting is going to make them even darker. My brows look like gigantic caterpillars today. Oh man. And I've kind of decided that I don't really like combining a brow pencil with a colored brow gel. I like to either do no brow pencil and only colored brow gel, or a colored pencil with clear brow gel. Otherwise I feel like they just end up looking too thick and bold. And don't get me wrong, I love the look of a thick, bold brow if that's kind of your natural brow, but my brows aren't naturally thick and bold, so I feel like it looks too fake for me when I make them thick and bold, you know? Let's go ahead and move into mascara. And for mascara, my most neglected mascara, I was going to use this right here. This is the L'Oreal Voluminous Feline. Here's my little story with this little guy. I actually bought this mascara before I started my YouTube channel, and it sat unopened in the back of my drawer until a couple of weeks ago. I finally opened this thing up, and I was surprised that it wasn't completely dried out. But because I will be outside watching baseball games, I need a waterproof or water-resistant mascara when I'm watching baseball outside because my eyes water so severely. So I'm going to use one coat of this, and then we're going to go on top of it with the Essence Volume Stylist, because this stuff is super budge-proof. And here we are with the finished eyes. Let's move into the lips. And for my neglected lip product, I really wanted to pull out my Sephora Lip Stories in the color Tan Lines. I love this color. It's a really good peachy pink. I hope it goes okay with this eye look. I was actually thinking of doing something a little bit more cool toned. But I'm going to start off with my Wet n Wild Gel Lip Liner in the color Bear to Comment. Is it Bear? Yeah, Bear to Comment. Let me just swatch that next to this one. This one is a pretty bold pinky peach. I hope it's not too bold. Alright, now for the Sephora lipstick. I really love this lipstick in this formula. They are actually pretty affordable. I'm not a big fan of the packaging on these. They are really, the cardboard kind of gets mangled a little bit, especially if you carry these around like in your purse. And I love the smell of these. They smell like Nordstrom, like when I was young, going into Nordstrom when I was young, which I didn't actually shop there very often, but I loved going in there and like walking by the makeup counters, you know, just to see what there was. Or to spray a little free perfume. Did anybody else do that? Walk through Nordstrom and like purposely not wear perfume that day so that you could spray something really fancy on yourself. I still do that sometimes, to be honest. Alright, so I feel like that's not too warm. It does look pretty nude to me. I do want to add a little bit of gloss. For my gloss, we're going to take the Rimmel Stay Glossy Gloss. Do they still make these glosses? This is pretty old. I probably should get rid of this because I'm pretty sure I've had this for more than a year now. But it still smells okay. Honestly, I don't even know what color this one is because I think the sticker that told you what color it was is no longer on here. I don't know. It's a pinky gold. we're gonna go ahead and add some of this. But the real reason I wanted to use this one is because Rimmel in general is a brand that I feel like I have neglected for a very long time, and not necessarily just with what's in my collection, but they're a brand that I walk by all the time and I just don't really, they don't grab my attention. I don't really ever think to stop and look and see what they have, which is surprising because I know they have a lot of great products and they are a more affordable drugstore brand in my opinion. So let me know, have you guys tried these glosses? Do they have other products that maybe I haven't tried that I should try? Please let me know down below. All right, you guys, and here we are with the finished makeup look. I hope that you guys enjoyed this one. Hopefully you enjoyed seeing me using some products that I just have not used for a while. Of course, if you guys have any thoughts on any of these products, if you have tried them, if you like them, if you don't, I always love hearing your feedback, so let me know in the comments down below. Also, I have kind of a random question for you guys. If you guys have any products that you have your eyes on, especially things that maybe have come out recently or will be coming out soon, let me know in the comments down below, because I feel like I've been a little bit disconnected. I haven't been trying out as much new stuff, and I'm kind of getting an itch that it's time to try something new. So I would love to know what you guys are interested in before I make that decision for myself. Maybe that will help me decide what I should try. But that is it for today's video. Thank you guys for stopping by. I hope that you guys are doing well. I know there is so much going on in the world right now, especially here in America. Please know that you are in my thoughts and prayers. But I hope that you guys have a good one. Thank you again for stopping by. Please be sure to subscribe if you haven't done that yet, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye. I'm trying to take this down on my neck, but I'm wearing a white hoodie today, which is never a good idea when you're wearing makeup.
Can I ride over to Angie's now vegan if he wants to come over to the lake?
The lake? You realize it's supposed to be thunderstorms and only 48 degrees today.
What? Angie's at work.
Yeah, Angie's at work. And how did I get on the topic of fish crackers when we were talking about crumpets? I don't know. Oh, let's move on, Mandy. This is getting out of hand.